Building secure software is of paramount importance in a world that is on an accelerated digitization path. Welcome to the Purple Book Podcast, where we host thought leaders and security practitioners to tackle the monumental challenge of building secure software. Our mission is to spread awareness, challenges, and best practices in secure software development. This show is your guide to hearing inspiring stories of leaders building secure software against odds, and getting to know the personal stories of these leaders who make it all happen. Here are your hosts, the members of the Purple Book community.
Hi, I'm Nitin Raina, and we have Chitra Dharmarajan with me. And welcome, Chitra. And
Hey, Nitin.
hi. We will be doing the chat today around setting up Security Champions Program for Success. I'm really honored to have Chitra, with me. So, Chitra, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Hey, Nitin, it's a great opportunity to talk about this topic here. And a brief introduction about me. I pretty much worked in few Silicon Valley companies for the last 20 years. I started my career as a developer and then moved on to developing security products in networking domains, routers, switches, and firewall. And then from there on, I moved on to product security. That gave a good perspective of holistic way of looking at securing a solution, not just about building one security feature for a product. And from there, I moved on to cloud infrastructure security, and now I'm kind of leading both security and privacy engineering initiatives.
Excellent. That's really super. Thanks for the intro, Chitra. And for the people who are watching this podcast for the first time, I'm Nitin Raina, your host, and I am the Vice President Cyber Information Security for Thoughtworks. Thoughtworks is a software consulting and digital transformation services firm. And I've been with them for almost 12 years, and my career span is close to 25 years. So mostly been in the area of technology and security. And yeah, this topic is very close to me, and that's the reason I'm hosting it. So thank you and welcome everybody once again. So let's start with the why, Chitra. I think, why do one need to set up a security champions program? Could you maybe share a few insights, please?
Yeah, so the challenge that we are facing as an industry today is really shortage of talent here. So a security team cannot be everywhere, and security team may not have the budget to scale to the level of your engineering talent, to the same scale of your engineering talent. And even if we have the budget, we don't have the talent available in the market to recruit. And these are more like a business or operative constraints we are talking about. But having a security champion built or fostered, inbuilt within the development team, that brings out a great culture. So that is more like bringing that culture of having security in everyone's mind. And once we imbibe that culture, it makes it very easier to shift left or adoption of security way early in the build, way early in the development. All of this can only happen when you have a champion who is one of that secure development member, one of your team member who is owning that security champion responsibility and guiding the compass towards a better security posture. So that is one of the primary reasons why we are at an inflection point now that we need to scale the security operations. And scale of security operations cannot happen by just scaling manpower within the security team. Scale of security operations is possible when you are able to build that satellite team across functionally.
That's a very good point, Chitra, and I think I see the same within the organization that I'm part of, but also otherwise, right? I connect with a lot of CISOs, and I think you did touch on a couple of very important points, right? There is one where you spoke about culture. You spoke about security is indeed everyone's problem. You can't just put a point person and expect that person to scale or maybe add five of security experts. It does not work. resources or people that we are trying to hire, they are difficult to find, difficult to retain, and that's another stream of issues which I think we should talk about it as well, but not in this podcast. But I think you're spot on with culture, with the scale. You touched on the scale aspect as well, and every organization who is fast growing today is facing a scale issue. How do you do operations scaling, not just within security, but within the function that you're part of? So I think that's very, very good and excellent insights, Chitra. Let's touch on the topic of the what, right? What is in the role of a security champion? And I know that you work with Okta, and you have sort of had excellent experience in the past. Maybe you can share some of your insight on this question, please, Chitra.
Yeah. So when we think about a security champion, it's not necessarily only the scaling of the security operations. As the companies grow, their product portfolios grow, and your security team cannot keep up with the intricacies of every bits and features developed in your expanding product. So there is a two-way learning street we are talking about here. Security operations are taught to the champions a little bit so that they can support the security team members. At the same time, security team members are learning about the nuances, intricacies of the products and features developed from the product development lifecycle. So they both are enriching each other's knowledge base there. So that's also another primary reason why I strongly see a value of scaling the security initiatives with a strong security champion. Coming to the point, like how do we define or what is exactly the role of a security champion? The first thing that comes to my mind is a security champion is still a developer. Their day job is a development, and they have responsibilities and commitment towards their development initiatives. It's not that your security champion responsibility can engulf their entire 40-hour work week. So you have to carefully think about what is the expectation here. And a security champion is not a replacement of a security team member. You cannot expect a security champion to write security advisory, external visible communications, or jump on an incident and support you day and night. That shouldn't be the expectation. But where a champion can help us effectively is like, hey, here is my code base. Looks like I need to integrate A, B, and C tools to this code base. So instead of a security engineer spending time in all these integrations, rather they can have a playbook or video or some kind of manuals so that security champion owns the responsibility of integrating the right security tools to their code base and owns the responsibility of managing the vulnerabilities within their respective teams. Like they sit in their sprint cycle, so they can bring awareness like, hey, here is our security backlog. We should place it somewhere in this quarterly sprint cycle. So they bring that awareness within their team, and they act as an ombudsman to the or an extended security team member staying within their security team. So some of the expectations we can think about is like, we can shape up this rule to be more about learning the integration of security tools, evaluating the assessments provided by the security tools, being that security ombudsman to bring awareness about vulnerability management within their respective teams. And when there is any triaging, any kind of areas where we need a little bit of security acumen, this person, like be it customer concern or something, the security champion is someone who is able to answer the right questions to the field team so that security team has additional support. I mean, they don't need to speculate what will happen in this product. Rather, they have a champion who can look through the code and say, hey, when this happens, this is how the product reacts. So it's kind of like a two-way association with each other.
Yeah, that's fair to say, Chitra. I will just extend what you're saying and your analogy with regards to a dev team, and obviously, we are a technical company as well. But I want to extend it a little bit further, right? I was talking to one of my fellow colleagues who is the data protection officer for Thoughtworks, right? So she and I work very closely, and we are looking at data protection champions within countries, within functions. Now, I want to have a security champion within finance. So I want to, yes, today I have a community of 600, 700 people who work in the security champions field across multiple countries. It's very mature within ThoughtWorks, but I want to extend this into a finance function, a marketing function. So the beauty of these individuals is that they are so close to the function itself that they understand that domain. So the domain knowledge, the functional knowledge is with them. And it's so easy if they're able to pick up pieces of data protection, if they are able to pick up pieces of cyber, product security, information security, it makes our lives easy because we can, train them, or we can, add capabilities to their portfolio, and they'll bring in the business knowledge,
Correct.
and which sometimes an infosec member or a product security member might not have, because we cut across so many teams. It's difficult. It's extremely difficult unless you have spent huge amount of time on the business side or on the dev side. So I completely agree with you that it's a two-way street, and as you rightly pointed it out, and I think that's fabulous.
The way I look at it is like, say, building a champion program is a concept. You can apply it irrespective of which domain. You can build security champion in development team. You can build security champion in people operations and finance, right? They handle a lot of sensitive data, sensitive information. So like I said, a security professional will be at breadth. They may not have bandwidth to go at depth. When they are partnering with a champion who has the depth of their domain, and when they are learning the security operations or the concepts from their security partner, this partner and champion go hand in hand. Security partner from the information security team and the champion from the respective functional domain. They go hand in hand, coaching each other, learning from each other, and tackling problems together with higher confidence and higher fidelity, right? Like now you have both the breadth as well as the depth of the function domain in hand.
Yeah, no. I completely can't agree more with you, Chitra. So let's move on, right? The aspect of, with your experience, right? When you have seen Security Champions program, getting implemented within your organization or your previous experiences, share some of the how, and I can do the same from my side, but we would love to know, the audience would love to know more on that, Chitra, please.
Like how they say, like, the person who made the correct electric bulb, they know that one procedure, whereas Edison knew how not to do the electric bulb, right? Like, so I have tested and tried these procedures in many companies, and I have also learned how to do it right. I have as well learned how not to do, what are the pitfalls in doing it in the wrong way. So I'll start with some of the scenarios where there could be lesser chance for success, and then move on to a scenario where there is a higher chance for success.
Sounds good.
Building the security champion program, if you go ahead and enthusiastically recruit 10 security champions from various engineering teams by having a conversation at a break room, it will not scale, because their respective managers have commitments around those people. Like they have their day jobs. Of course, you will have a lot of interest when you propose a plan about security champions. You will definitely have a lot of interest about within individual contributors to be part of it, because everybody wants to enrich their knowledge with security acumen. I mean, security has become a default most wanted skill in the industry. And if you enthusiastically recruit 10 or 15 security champions for those 15 teams without taking proper consent and alignment, you will not have the right support to lead your program. So this is something where we need to do both bottom-up as well as top-down approach. So we need to come up with some kind of methodical approach about like what exactly is the expectation from the security champion. I'm going to list out a few from the development world. Let's say when a product or feature is built, we need to do a threat modeling exercise.
Yeah.
We need to map out all the attack surfaces. So here is where a security partner can sit on the same round table with a security champion and map out all that attack surfaces together with the breadth and depth of the domain put in place together. And once this baseline threat model is done, we can tell the security champion, in future, we expect you to maintain this threat model. Let's say if you're going to change any feature or if you're going to delete anything, Then whatever is the posture change, you are going to maintain this threat model and I'm going to be your review support. So you delegate that maintenance of threat model with a security champion. And then you come up with other asks about here are the tools which need to be integrated in the code and the vulnerability management aspects. So when you coin these out, come up with a percentage of time these security champions will have to work. A simple math I will say is as long as you're consuming somewhere around 10 to 15% of their time in a quarter, that is the ideal. I would say restricted to 10 to 12, and 15 is the highest number. When I say 15%, let's say 40-hour work week, we are asking about 3 business days a month and 9 business days a quarter. So that is about the time, when you go reach to your management and say, I need a security champion, 1 champion per team. And I'm looking for them to spend 9 days with security initiatives. And these 9 days, they'll be working on these specific tasks. Then your alignment is much easier. When I say 9 days, I just mapped out that 15% of their work hours. But yeah, it could be 8 days depending on your responsibilities and stuff like that. So somewhere cut a right magic number between 10 to 15% of that security champion's time. And make a strong investment. It's not just that we are expecting the security champion to deliver, but we also have to engage them on any conferences, any tech talks. Make some investment around that from the security team. Sponsor your champion for a local OS meetup group.
Yeah.
Bring them on board for virtual sessions. These days with the pandemic, there is a lot of economical opportunities, or sponsor some trainings for them in online remote trainings. So make a career investment in building their security skills, and at the same time, get an alignment from their respective management for the amount of hours they are expected to contribute, and stick to that commitment and never overburden the champion more than what they have promised. Because once you start using this leverage more than what was agreed, somebody will backfire and say hey, no, I'm going to withdraw my champion because I have business priorities. So yeah, we have to cut a very smooth alignment there, and we have to stick to the alignment and commitments there.
That's really good to know. So I think what I gathered from you is partnership, right? I think I always use this term time and again when we work with our stakeholders, or we work with our product teams or functions, operations. I think partnership is so key. And I think, we should also, when you are having those conversations, yes, there is a time commitment, there is a contract that you are signing, right? Whether it is, actually, a written contract or not, because these are all within the same organization. But it's important because people are time is precious. We have 40 hours every week, and with COVID and all of these other, working from home challenges, there's so much on people's plate now, and then people are working more hours. So we want the product to be secure. We want the product to be secure right from the start. So don't do it as a gate approach. Exactly. But I think these conversations are good to have with our stakeholders, showing them the benefits that they gain. So if you are enriching your team with these security champions who are not just working with let's say Chitra's team and as the head of security, but also they are learning. So there is a retention angle, right? Anywhere where people are upskilling and there is a capability uplift in their journey, they find it valuable. So somebody who only knows the dev side but learns design or learns security, these are add-ons that people can be proud of. It helps them. And that's how I look at it. Nobody says no for security because they know it is so in demand.
It's a valuable skill. And
exactly.
Such upskilling will also help managers to retain their top employees.
Absolutely.
It's challenging them beyond the boundary of their function, right? They are pushing themselves beyond the boundary of their functions to pick up a new skill.
Absolutely. So I think, and you stressed on that they are still not your security experts. So I think I want the audience to pay attention to this, that the individuals that play the role of champion, they are people who are helping in the journey, but they should not be held accountable, because then that's where the challenge comes in, because they're like, hey, I was supposed to help and I thought I will gain something and I will give something to the team or to the community or to the security function. But if it goes beyond that, then the whole boundaries start to shake.
Correct.
The pillars, the foundational pillars, if I could say that, starts to shake. So no, that's very, very helpful, Chitra. So let's, in the interest of time, I just want to maybe look at, you know, based on your experience, you have seen this journey in multiple organizations. When is the right time to actually, set up this program? What level of maturity does the organization need to have, or a product, development team need to have? When is the right time, Chitra?
So I have worked in startups, mid-size and big size companies. Every company's ethos is different. So I'll say, let's say if you're in a very small startup where the number of employees is 3 digits, for example, 100, 200s, then demanding a 15% resource from your functional partners is probably not going to fly well. So that is the time you probably need to go with a more tight engagement as a security partner. Your security team need to have a much closer engagement, and you really cannot ask for a champion when an organization is having such a small scale to operate. But as you are coming into a mid-sized company, let's say for example, 3 to 5,000 company, I mean, you don't even have to wait that far. When you are somewhere crossing the mark of 500 people, let's say if your workforce is crossing the mark of 500, I'm going to assume in any technology company, when your workforce is crossing 500, engineering workforce is somewhere 60 to 65% of that workforce, right? So you're crossing the 300, 400 engineering headcount. That's the good sweet spot to build a security champion culture. So I'll say, for example, if you have a team of 6 or above, you can ask for a security champion who will participate 15% of their time for security initiatives. Let's say if you're a smaller team, let's say 3-member team or 2-member team, giving away that 15% of the workforce is going to be hard. So that is when managers, you have to approach this creatively. You have to ask, why don't 2 teams team up together and nominate one security champion if they are smaller micro teams? So go with the ethos of your company and see how you can cut the right negotiations, where you can win the right alignment there. So there is no hard and fast rule that every team must have a security champion, but it is always best. If your team size is 6 or above, that means you're consistently developing products and features. It is worth your time as well as it's worth the business in terms of building that security champion in-house within that team. If it is a smaller team, try and combine.
That's really good. Yeah, I think that's spot on. So, time it appropriately. If it's a large to mid-size, and even, you talked about startups, we talk about scale-ups as well. So wherever your organization is in that growth trajectory, if they are doing active development, do consider bringing in and have that conversation. And I always tell this to my stakeholders, my colleagues, and even people externally. Don't push something. You will be able to explain the value, explain why you're doing it, why you're asking this to be done, and share it as something that both the parties gain. It's not just about, because we cannot multiply and scale as security professionals, we are expecting somebody to become one, but like, hey, you're going to gain something from this. So that's very good.
It should be more like an organic evolution, right?
Exactly.
You have to evolve as partners. A
Yes.
security leader has to evolve as a partner to their functional leaders. And that is when both the teams can amalgamate their workforce to meet the common cause of improving the security posture.
Absolutely. So on that note, I know we did spend, good, I would say 20, 25 minutes so far on the topic. So any final closing notes, Chitra? Do you want to summarize based on what we have just covered so far with the audience?
Yeah, I would definitely say that a strong security posture cannot be built only by the security team. Security is everyone's responsibility, although security team is accountable for that. So when it comes to everybody's responsibility, we have to make sure that the contributions, like we get the contributions from everyone with regard to improvement of security posture. And this is security champion is a nice and elegant way to derive security contributions as well as enrich the security knowledge within the product teams. So think about recruiting, getting alignment for the security champion program, and think about conscious investment in enriching the skills of the recruited security champions. And keep the work items very clear. Derive a proper RACI. What is the work items expected from the champions? Where are they accountable? Where are they responsible? Where are they consulting? Derive a proper RACI and then evaluate what is the time required to deliver that RACI, and then come up with the right alignment asks. And make sure your security champions are closely engaged with your team. Last but not the least, nothing beats a good swag. When you are buying swag for your security team, do not forget your extended support team of security champions. Be generous.
Absolutely.
Buy a good hoodie, buy a good jacket, take them for a conference. So these kind of team camaraderie helps nurture this culture.
Yeah. Oh, that's spot on. I think you chose a lot of the right things that every organization today, aspires or dreams to do. But it's really good. I think one which I would add, Chitra, to your list is think about the program with a lens of continuous improvement. I think we all want to do things right from the start, and it is tough. It is difficult because you have to start small. You have to stay nimble. You'll have to adjust, sometimes scale down, sometimes, even pause. That's okay. Don't because anything that you try new, there will be friction. Any change sees friction. So if you're like, hey, this is how my day used to look like, and now my day is looking like this, there will be friction, whether it is the stakeholder or the devs themselves. But I think keep on doing small, minor, incremental changes towards the final goal. Make, again, because Thoughtworks is, pioneered in Agile, I always talk about it, do something small, reflect on it, look at the feedback around it, have a retrospective, take inputs from the security community people or the champions, because they know on the ground what has worked and what hasn't worked. We as InfoSec professionals or security professionals sometimes live in a different land altogether. And these are the people who are actually in the team. So if they come back from the trenches and tell us that this is not working, and I think we need to hear that feedback. We need to respond and even change our journey or our program or roadmap to facilitate them. So I can't agree more with you, Chitra. And I think with that, I believe we are almost on time. So thank you very much, Chitra, for your time today. I really hope you found this conversation useful. I enjoyed it. So thank you very much.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and Purple Book community has always been a very resourceful forum. Especially, this is more like leader-to-leader conversations directly in person. It gives that feel of in-person coffee chat, and I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much, Nitin.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks to the Purple Book community for organizing this podcast event. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Purple Book Podcast, home of the world's top security leaders. If you enjoyed this episode, find more content from our experts at thepurplebook.club. Remember, it's thepurplebook.club, not .com. Follow us at the Purple Book Community on LinkedIn and Purple Community on Twitter. Until next time, these are your hosts and guests signing off.